so much.
Is that good?
Just go like this. You don't have to just go like that. Just grab it like Tina Turner.
Yeah. And I messed it up.
Just tilt it. Here.
Oh, great.
Do you want that?
Oh, it's freedom. It's
Okay.
great. It's such a pleasure to be here. Carol, thank you. I owe so much to Carol and Tom both. And thank you to everyone in Babylon. And to you all for coming out. I just feel like I just got off a plane from Malta. It's where it's way hot and it's way cold here. So, okay. I'm going to read a little excerpt from this book, which is about a young woman who does not listen to her intuition, gives in to family pressure, family she loves, and marries the son of old family friends she thinks, they all think, is a doctor. And prior to this scene, which happens towards the end of the book, Monica Shams, which is the narrator, has been married to Dr. Davud Pirnia for 8.5 months, and this whole time she's been questioning his identity and his activities. It's February 1996, before cell phones, and she has just spent the afternoon being stranded at her office by Davud, who has her car and her house keys. It is Ramadan. Both sets of parents are at Monica's parents' house for dinner, including Monica's grandparents. But how many other husbands get by with this kind of behavior, I demanded. I don't know where he goes or what he does half the time. It was the most confrontational I'd been with Davud, about Davud with either family. I felt fragile and a bit crazy, like I was watching my disembodied voice just flow out of me, but I couldn't stop. I was sure Davud's portrait of me to his parents as a difficult, no, a crazy, hysterical girl was being reinforced, but I couldn't keep quiet anymore. I had to speak the truth. Something about Davud's absence this night felt different from all his other absences. Grandma and Grandpa whispered to each other. Then Grandma spoke up. If what Moni is saying is true, then things don't add up. You can't expect a young girl to sit at home while her husband runs around free. This isn't our generation, thank God. Whatever we may have tolerated, this new generation doesn't. She looked around the table and then settled on my grandfather, who, unable to meet her eyes, ran a finger along the edge of his dinner plate and gently hummed a military tune. There are two sides to every story, Mrs. Pirnia countered. Young men these days have to work hard to meet their wives' expectations. She fixed me with an arch look, raising her pencil-thin right brow. I sighed and looked away. I really don't have time for this, I thought, although in reality, I had nothing but time. Mr. Pirnia sought to distract the focus on his son by turning the conversation to a dinner party level. Your cooking is fabulous as ever, Mrs. Shams, he said, hoping to charm us all. Nusha Jan, Maman said, meaning may it nourish you. I hope you enjoy. We ate our dinner in relative silence after that. At 10:30, while Maman and I were cleaning up, and Baba, Grandpa, and Mr. Pirnia were in the living room playing backgammon, the phone rang. Oh, hello, Davud, Maman answered in a voice like pure sunshine, while waving me into the breakfast room from the kitchen where I was doing the dishes. Fine, thank you, how are you? Oh, and here's Monica, she would very much like to speak with you. Giving my shoulder a small shove, she handed me the phone. Hi, where are you? I said. Hi, Monijan, Davud said rapidly. How are you? Let me talk to my dad. Like it was all one sentence and I had to get out of its way. I'm sorry? Let me talk to my dad, will you? Wait, you've been gone all day, and let me talk to my dad. Just let me talk to him. Davud was almost babbling now. I'd never heard him like this. I called Mr. Pirnia to the phone, away from his backgammon game. He stood in the phone nook, listening to Davud for a few seconds. Then he said, in a tired, deliberate voice, I don't know how to get there, and even if I did, they already know. There were instant reverberations in the room, a roar, grumbling. Everyone left their chairs, the same chairs we had been scooting in and out from under the table all night long. Did they mean us? If so, what did we know? At that point, Baba instinctively grabbed the phone from Mr. Pirnia. Have you been detained? He asked Davud twice in English. There was a strained pause, and then Baba nodded his head. Dawood had apparently finally said yes. Later, Baba would tell me he'd guessed that Dawood had been detained because he'd accidentally hit someone while driving my car. "Where are you?" Baba asked, holding a pen over the small pad of paper we kept by the phone. There seemed to be some distraction on Dawood's end. Baba spoke into the phone again, this time repeating Dawood's words. 950 Bryant. Another pause. Then, "The guard says 850 Bryant? City Hall, San Francisco, yes." Baba wrote down the correct address in his clear, clean strokes. "We'll be there to straighten it out. Here's Moni again." He handed me the phone. "I swear, honey," Dawood's voice pled in a kind of quiet gurgle as soon as I came onto the line. "This has never happened to me before. You've got to believe I've never been arrested. I don't know what this is all about. They've made a huge mistake, a huge, huge mistake. There's been a misunderstanding, I swear it. But together, we'll get to the bottom of this, I promise you." He sounded so convinced of what he was saying that I found I was almost ready to be swayed. But no, wait, I cautioned myself. Soon, Dawood was crying, and I felt gratified that something or somebody had finally gotten through to him. But the vast darkness of not knowing what he had done scared me, so it never even occurred to me to ask what it was that he had done. I just knew it was dark and deep, and that we were in for it. Too, I was starting to go into shock and could feel myself going under in waves of near pleasure. What a cool and welcome relief it was to have this new distance, gray and heady though it was, in place of my usual jitteriness and relentless questions. My brain went numb as my body floated in, promising to take over or escape, I couldn't tell which. Dawood blew his nose. "Can you help me?" Somehow I had known it would come to this. "What do you need?" His response was quick. "Could you maybe bring a couple of your father's lawyer friends with you when you come?" I pictured Ed, one of Baba's lawyers, getting out of his warm bed in his Berkeley Hills home to meet us at the downtown jail at midnight. I'm sorry, no. Anything else?" "I love you, my love," Dawood said. I snorted, hung up, and breezed into the foyer, moving fast and out of my body with fear and anger. I knew I should have trusted myself from the beginning, but too late, too late. Mr. Pirnia had alerted his wife, and she was gamely putting on her raincoat. Baba handed me my coat from the hall closet. That's why everyone wants my father around. That's why everyone wants my father around in a crisis, I thought. He acts with such decorum and grace. Grandma, who was awaiting us in the dining room for dessert of tea and chocolate-dipped strawberries, had not caught any of this conversation. Now she asked, "Where are you going?" "Jail, Grandma," I said, my voice loaded with anger. "Jail? What do you mean jail?" "You know, Grandma, jail, prison." I drew some bars in the air. "Whatever for? Dawood's in jail." "Dawood in jail?" She slapped her thigh through her cream-colored skirt. "Oh my God, whatever for?" "We're going to find out." My jaw was set. At the door, Mrs. Pirnia turned to ask Grandma and Maman to please forgive her. "What are you apologizing for?" Grandma asked. "You don't even know what's happened," Maman said. "Just hurry and call us when you get there." Thank you so much.